On Tuesday, June 30th, a number of persons from communities in and about Port of Spain and environs, as well as outside of Port of Spain as far as Arima, took to the streets in protest, which created a gridlock of traffic around the city and resulted in arrests of 72 persons and 1 person dead. We have on the line Commissioner of Police, Captain Gary Griffith. Commissioner Griffith, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you and to your viewers.
Commissioner, can you shed some light as to what transpired over the last few days?
Well, it is more over the last 24 hours. Prior to this, the country was moving along as we usually do. Unfortunately, just prior to that, there was an orchestrated attempt by certain individuals to destabilize the country. This was set and sealed. I am really shocked that a newspaper editorial today, they are actually trying to question it. The fact of the matter is, if you look, there were over 40 different places simultaneously. Events were taking place, burning tires, debris, damaging property, shooting at police officers in different parts of Trinidad and Tobago. Then persons coming out with placards. So the Trinidad and Tobago Express, they really cracked it this morning, where they actually tried to question whether this was an orchestrated attempt or not. So it was planned. The difference, however, because of technology, because of proper training, and efficient and effective, hard-working, dedicated, professional police service, working hand in hand with other arms of the protective services, we were able to pinpoint every single occasion when something took place. We were able to immediately rectify it on the spot. I ran the operations from the Commissioner's Command Center, seeing everything in real time, where I was able to mobilize units, utilize resources in an effective and efficient manner. And what we noticed as well, unlike other countries, there was very little confrontation with the police. We were very, even though they were trying to peg back the criminal elements that were involved in doing what was required, we avoided confrontation as much as possible, even though it is that police officers were actually shot at and some were even injured.
Mm-hmm. You're quoted as saying that the violence we have seen is part of a conspiracy. Do you have more? Can you enlighten us further on this?
Well, at this time, I prefer not to. We have intelligence, and again, it is unfortunate that a newspaper will try to question and discredit the intelligence agencies of Trinidad and Tobago, where they are the ones who actually brought it to my attention prior to. So it was not a matter of we saw this and then after we decided to make a statement. The plan was to utilize what happened, and I asked the country to please understand. Look at the video footage there. Are you seeing situations there of persons being concerned or sympathetic to an incident? No, this involved individuals who tried to utilize an opportunity to do what is required, destabilize a country, shut down a country, and to peg back police officers. The police officers, again, I said that this situation, you cannot justify this in any form or fashion to say that police officer, her car was destroyed this morning, police officers were attacked, shot at. We have video footage of weapons being prepared to kill police officers. Shots were fired in the office of the Attorney General. Look at all of that. And people are still trying to put the focus on police officers and what they did a few days ago. The fact of the matter is that there's an investigation pending. And all of a sudden now there's no desire to hear what the PCA has to say. The PCA is an independent body. People, they're trying to demand swift justice and they want it now. I am not going to go along that road. There must be an investigation. There must be proper investigation to ensure that when decisions are made, it is not made based on a knee-jerk or emotional response. And what we saw here, by blocking roads, burning tires, shooting at police officers, threatening to kill police officers, how could that in any way be seen to justify what may have happened? Those individuals, we also have video footage of most of these individuals. They will all be brought in for questioning and arrested. But again, this was an avenue, an excuse. And unfortunately, we have some persons who are the intellectuals. They want to pontificate and try to pretend that they are God's gift to protecting persons. They have become the catalyst towards the problem by trying to defend wrongdoing. And that, I think, is very unfortunate. Look at these incidents that you have seen here. How could that in any way be justified? There was a nation needed to be, we had to defend that nation, our nation yesterday. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, I wish to commend the officers. They stepped up to the plate. They did what was required. And the individuals who tried to shut down the country failed miserably.
Commissioner, in a situation, let's switch gears a little bit. In a situation where a police officer is alleged to have used excessive force, what is the process of accountability?
Well, definitely, it's twofold. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we have our investigation. It has already commenced through the Professional Standards Bureau. And likewise, the PCA is an independent organization, very transparent, and they will have their own investigation based on the findings from the PCA. I would act accordingly based on what the PCA has to provide to me. We are providing the PCA with all information required pertaining to video footage, witnesses, information we have, ballistic testing, the police officers going to be interviewed by the PCA. So all of this will take place, but we cannot operate like the Wild West and then have persons just turn up at in front of the office of the sheriff with pitchforks and knives and lighting fires with a rope stating that it's time to hang individuals because they are emotional. It does not work that way. This sheriff is going to remain at the front door, and I'm going to ensure that the justice system would work in accordance with what we have in our constitution. I am not going to be badgered or butchered in any way for persons that feel that they can pressure me and demand that action must be taken. This is a cop-out. This is just an excuse by persons who want to break the law, commit crime, and have no care about law and order, and they're using this situation as an excuse. And what is amazing is that persons are trying to justify this. Had it been your home invaded, your family shot at as took place with police officers, persons' cars destroyed, had it been you will say a totally different thing. These individuals are criminal elements. They have been doing their best to try to destroy the country. Over 5,000 firearms seized, over 7,000 arrests made with persons with illegal firearms. This is a nation under siege, and these individuals are being protected by certain persons because crime is big business, very big business with big money. And individuals now these individuals are trying to use this as an opportunity to peg back the police officers. The police officers, I will show you it is unbelievable the number of police officers who have been shot at in the last few years. And that is the concern. The concern should be persons shooting at law-abiding citizens and police. And then when the police decide to shoot and return fire, this becomes an issue. This has nothing to do with the incident there. That incident that we saw, it is very unfortunate, but I give the assurance to the public, as I did weeks ago, and I continue to state, if at any time any police officer is charged for any violent crime, he must be immediately fired. I stated that. Now, I have not changed my stance. It is other persons who said it is okay in Minneapolis for police officers to be fired based on what they saw. But in Trinidad and Tobago, persons, many persons are always these intellectuals who try to feel that they're better than everyone else and they're brighter than everyone else. They say, no, well, the person must be innocent until proven guilty. No, if police officers are charged for violent crime, rape, kidnapping, murder, I say that it should be fired immediately because we must set ourselves to a higher standard. So, but let us go through the process, have the investigation, and on the completion of the investigation, I will act accordingly.
And Commissioner, what protocols are in place to ensure that police officers are compliant?
Sorry, I lost you there.
What protocols are in place to ensure that police officers are compliant?
Well, again, we have a Professional Standards Bureau. We monitor the performance of police officers. What we have also done too is the first time in the history of this country that we have seen that Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we have systems to ensure the minimum use of force as best as possible. We have training police officers in verbal persuasion. We have the communication equipment. We have the cameras. We're providing real-time video footage from every emergency response patrol vehicle and many of the other vehicles so that we can see what is happening in real time back at the operational command center, which proved to be very effective to neutralize the plan by these criminal elements to try to shut down the country. And also, we have the minimum use of force where it is we have training police officers now in the use of a baton, not as a pain-compliant method, but something to suppress individuals, pepper spray, tasers. The firearm will be the final use of force. But don't say that if someone, what we saw yesterday, there were numerous situations where police officers were shot at. And if it is police officers return fire these individuals and they were hit, then it is we come back to the situation with the all too wicked posse and so forth. So we are in a war zone there, and we are being told that persons can shoot at police officers, attack persons, kill persons, jump on vehicles, seize property that would not belong to you, destroy property, and the police must not act. Persons are deliberately trying to peg back the police officers from doing our job. And if it is that any police officer might abuse his authority, let us deal with that. but do not use that as an avenue that can allow persons to break the law, destroy property, shoot at police officers, fire shots at the Attorney General's office, and then tell the police that we must not do anything in return.
Commissioner, in news reports, protesters claim that they're being targeted unfairly. Can you comment on this?
All I would like you to do, I will give my comment by you just going back and showing the video footage. Persons breaking the law, overturning cars, destroying property, shooting at police officers, trying to lock down the roads, shut down the country, and you have the audacity to say that you are being targeted. Of course you're being targeted because you're breaking the law. You're being targeted because you're acting as a criminal. You're being targeted because you're trying to shoot at persons. You're being targeted because you have illegal firearms. You're being targeted because you're trying to kill other persons in your community. And then when that happens, no one says anything. Notice there's been deafening silence. One of my police officers, his head was blown off that same day when the 3 other men were killed. This has gone silent. No one has said a word about my police officer being killed. What about the outrage of the 2-year-old who was killed? The outrage only comes if police officers are involved. That cannot be democracy. That is hypocrisy. In the same manner, we must set ourselves to a higher standard as the police officers. The country must set ourselves to a standard where it must not be hypocritical that persons can shoot at police officers, kill individuals, no one sees anything, says anything, and the only time we become emotional is if police are involved.
Threats to the TTPs have surfaced on social media, Commissioner. Have you seen or heard any of these? Are they being taken seriously in the context of all that has taken place over the past few hours?
But you mean the committee as well? There have been a number of death threats, people threatening to kill police officers. They are showing videos of weapons that they intend to use. They intend to make sure that officers will be harmed. And that is what we have to deal with. That there, what you are seeing right now, are persons who are breaking the law. And then when we try to do what is required, as we have sworn on oath to do, persons are protesting. Don't protest too much. Persons are going out of their way to try their best to make sure that the police must not do what we should do to ensure that what you're seeing right there, right now, must continue. It is not happening in my watch. I am not going to be pegged back. I am not going to be pressured. I give the assurance to the vast majority of the law-abiding citizens of this great country, the police will not be pressured, intimidated in any way by persons who want to act as the mouthpiece of criminal elements, and they're trying to get the public to be sympathetic to the fact they're trying to say that criminals can shoot at police officers, destroy property, form gangs, do what is required to affect the democracy of this country, and the police must not operate and act as we should do. If it is, as I said, police officers, if they go over what they're required to do, it would be dealt with, and there's a proper disciplinary procedure. In the last situation, as I mentioned, 3 young men were unfortunately killed. But have we seen everything? We can't just automatically become judge, jury, and executioner to make a decision and demand from the Commissioner of Police that these individuals must be suspended immediately. We're going through a process. There will be an investigation, and I would not be pressured.
Commissioner, there was a casualty out of the situation yesterday. Do you have any information on this? People have been saying, the woman was shot by the police, and others are saying that it was activity in the area. Do you have any information at this time?
No, that is still being investigated. We have actually seen video footage, however, of persons threatening me and my family, and that is where we have reached as a society. Okay, if this happen, I am going to come after you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to threaten you. And that is where we have reached. And if you look at social media, that has become the norm, where these criminal elements, they boast and brandish their weapons, they feel they can do what they want, whenever they want, and the police must not in any way retaliate. Many of those persons that we have seen, we have the video footage of the individuals who have been involved in breaking the law. As I stated, you have the right to protest. I tell the public, protest. It is your right. The public is hurting. And again, I will give you that protection. I will ensure that you have that constitutional right enforced by you protesting. But you are not going to be protested on my watch by breaking the law, shooting at police officers, attacking persons, destroying property, blocking road, throwing debris, and have the audacity to say that this is what is accepted. It is not accepted. This here, what we are seeing on the footage right now, is what I intend to pursue. I intend to peg back criminal elements, and because of this, persons are offended. There was an individual actually yesterday. He said he's concerned about my performance. The day an individual decides to shut down a country, hold a country to ransom, kidnap a prime minister, several persons are killed, inclusive of a police officer, the darkest day in the history of our country. If an individual like that decides to support me, well, then I will be concerned. When they do not support me, then I know that I'm doing the right thing.
In the context of what happened over the past few hours, what is the desired outcome from the perspective of the TTPS?
What we are trying to do as much as possible is to give the assurance to the public that the situation is under control. There was a deliberate plot to destabilize the country. They failed miserably. There were 40 simultaneous situations of burning tires, blocking roads, shooting indiscriminately around the country. Through that operational command center, I was able to pinpoint in real time, as soon as it happened, we were able to send resources, do what was required, remove the debris, arrest persons, and clear the area. And again, this is what we will continue to do. I am not going to allow anyone to feel that they can take over this country by illegal means. I give the assurance to the vast majority of this country, the law-abiding citizens who understand what it is that we have done, and they have actually commended the police service. We have seen chambers and so forth come forward, and I wish to thank you for this. I wish to thank the police officers for stepping up and doing what is required. My note to the country is that the situation is under control. It is not over. These individuals have an agenda. There's a plot to try to shut down the country. I will do what is required as much as possible. I give the assurance to the public we will do what is required within the law to ensure that these individuals that you see here, look at that. What it is you have to gain. These are criminal elements. That is what they are doing. They are not doing it based on being sympathetic or emotional of what happened. They saw an opportunity, which is what crime is. It is a product of opportunity. Destroy, mayhem, they kill. That is what they are. That is what they see. And I am not here to allow any individual to break the law as a sign of a protest. You have a right to protest. You have a right to be heard. And again, we will support you. What it is that I give the assurance is that we will do what is required. I would like to ask the country, we need to just calm down. Everyone just needs to take a very deep breath and for us to understand that we are all working to try to find a way to move forward. The police officers who were involved in the shooting, the matter is being investigated, and I give the assurance to the public that the police officers, this police service is not above the law, but in the same manner, allow us to do our job. If we do not do our job, if police officers decide to get fed up and they back off, this whole country will be shut down definitely. I am not going to allow that to happen. The police officers in this service will not allow it to happen. We are going to do our job, and there are going to be persons who are going to represent these criminal elements. And because of that, they will speak. There are even some politicians, not of the two major political parties, but they are politicians because they cannot. There are three political leaders. If they take all of their support and assemble it together, they can't even break the public health regulations of more than 25 persons. So they're using situations like this to try to see if they can build some type of support to show we are supporting you and the police is the enemy. Trying to demonize, discredit police officers serves no purpose. Do not use these Trojan horses as an avenue to try to assist you in trying to deal with ensuring that justice prevails. The PCA, the police service, and our constitution will ensure that is done.
Commissioner, news just coming into our newsroom is that protests have restarted in the Cocorite area. Are you aware of this? Or
I'm aware of everything.
Okay.
Through the operational command center, we are seeing everything in real time. As soon as it happens, we immediately lock onto it. We send resources, we send the equipment. We had very good support from the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Services, the intelligence from the SSC, and the National Operation Fusion Center. So we are getting everything in real time. As soon as it happens, we immediately shut it down. We clear the debris. We arrest persons if they are still there. And that is what the plan was. There was supposed to be 40-odd consecutive situations of trying to shut down the country. And that was the plan. It failed, and they will let them continue. We will continue to arrest these individuals as it goes along. But I'm not going to have anyone feel that they can break the law and use what happened a week ago as justification.
Given the significant amount of video content circulating on social media, which can be received as alarming, what is your message to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and now the diaspora, because it's going out there, who are viewing these images? Commissioner.
Well, we have been seeing situations worldwide. Around the world, we've seen protests. And again, I ask the country to look and compare what we have seen internationally with what we have seen here in this country. Let us just draw an example. In Atlanta, about a week or two ago, someone actually stole equipment from a police officer and he started running and he was killed. In Trinidad and Tobago, someone stole equipment from a police officer and he left the savannah unharmed. The police officers, this police service, very professional, dedicated to duty, are very flexible. There's a tremendous restraint, but do not take that for weakness. Do not take it that we will just back off. But we have seen in other countries, police officers in confrontation, numerous persons being killed, arrested, police officers being killed. We have not seen it here. So it is chalk and cheese to what is there internationally. And that is because of two things. Because of the culture that we have in our country where our citizens are not persons unlike what you see there. The vast majority, they are not like that. And also our police officers, they are better trained. And again, because it is there may be one or two situations, we have 10,000 police officers. If one or two persons may do something outside of the law, do not cast it and throw a blanket on the rest of the police service. So again, we are doing all that is required. I give the assurance to the public, the situation is under control. If it is you see something, say something. I welcome the fact that persons were able to use video footage in that incident with the shooting of the individuals by police officers. That is going to play a very big part in the investigation. I wish to thank the public. This is what it is we continue to speak about. There is no such thing as the perfect crime. But the fact is, do not do it only when police officers are around. I am sure when that 2-year-old child was killed, someone would have taken a video. When it is that the young girl was killed in Carnage, someone would have taken a video. If we recall the situation in Sealots a year ago, when it is that it was she was accused of tipping off individuals, she was killed, her house was burnt. I'm sure someone has a video. So the 538 persons killed last year, I'm sure there were videos. Let us not just take videos only when police officers are involved. We cannot just feel concerned about killings only when police officers are involved. 538 people were killed last year. That wasn't because of police. That was because of criminal elements that many persons are aware of and sometimes even support. And again, some of these individuals have been instrumental in what took place yesterday. So it is an orchestrated plot. The nation is under siege. They have failed in their plot, and the police service would continue to persevere and do what is required to ensure democracy prevails in this country.
Commissioner Griffith, thank you very much for your time this morning, and we will be checking in with you as the morning progresses and as the week progresses. Commissioner of Police, Captain Gary Griffith. Thank you very much, sir.
There'll be a press conference at 10 a.m. this morning at the Police Admin Building, and so we will give you a further update at that time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith.